you will be able to perform calculations involving mass, volume, and density. So for our first problem, we're going to calculate the density of a solid with a mass of 143 grams and a volume of 266 milliliters. So first we write out our given. First thing that's given to us in the problem, it has a mass is 143 grams. And the other thing that's given is volume, 266 milliliters. So those are given. And our unknown says calculate the density. So we don't know the density. Here's where we solve that problem. First, we want to write out our equation. We know that density equals mass divided by volume. Density is mass divided by volume. And we want to solve for density. So we want to make sure that density, the D, is on one side of the equal sign. And the D is on the left side of the equal sign, so we can begin to work with this. We know our mass, we know our volume, so we take them and plug them into the equation. So 143 goes in for the mass, 266 goes in for the volume. Therefore, density equals 143 grams divided by 266 milliliters. And if we put that in our calculator, 143 divided by 266, then we get our final answer of 0.537. Density equals 0.537 grams per milliliter. And that is our final answer. And that's how you solve that problem. Now, for our next example, we are going to calculate the volume of a liquid with a density of 1.76 grams per cubic centimeter and a mass of 278 grams. So, given, we know the density, we know D is 1.76 grams per cubic centimeter. We know the mass, we know M, 278 grams. So what is our unknown? Well, it's asking us to calculate the volume. So that means we don't know the volume. So what we do is we write out our equation. Density equals mass divided by volume. Now, we want to solve for V, so we need to get the V by itself on one side of the equal sign. So how do we do that? Well, first, let's cross multiply. Turn that into a fraction. So we know D times V equals 1 times M. Right? So what we did there, we turned this into a fraction. D over 1 equals M over V. When you cross multiply, D times V equals 1 times M. D times V equals 1 times M. Now, our next step, we want to get the V by itself. So what we do is we divide both sides by D. Divide by D on this side, divide by D on that side. Now, over here, the D's are going to cancel out. So what we're left with is V equals 1 times M is just going to be M. Anything times 1 is itself. So V equals M divided by D. V equals M divided by D. And once you have V by itself on one side of the equal sign, now you can plug in your other values. So we know our M. M is 278 grams. So we're going to plug that in. 278 grams. Our D is 101.76 grams per cubic centimeter. 1.76 grams per cubic centimeter. Now, since I have a cubic centimeter, there we go. So since I have grams on top and on the bottom, grams are going to cancel out. So my answer is going to be in cubic centimeters. And now we just plug it in the calculator. 278 divided by 1.76. And that will give me, oh no, this is a 7. There we go. 278 divided by 1.76 gives us 157.9. Let's see, we got 3, 6, 8, so 158. V equals 158 what? Cubic centimeters. And that is my final answer, solving for volume. And that's how we solve for volume. And our third and final example, we are going to calculate the mass. Calculate the mass of an object with a density of 1.14 grams per milliliter and a volume of 12 milliliters. So first, our given. What's given to us? We know the density, D equals 1.14 grams per mil. And we know the volume, V equals 12 mils. So our unknown is what? It's asking us to calculate the mass. So our unknown is going to be mass. We start out by writing out our equation. We know that density equals mass divided by volume. And we need to get the M by itself on one side of the equal sign. So first thing we'll do is we'll turn this into a fraction just to make it easier to cross multiply. So D over 1 equals M over V. So next you cross multiply. D times V equals M times 1. D times V equals M times 1. Now, we want to get M by itself on the equal sign. Well, M times 1 equals M. So M equals D times V. So we have M by itself on one side of the equal sign. So now we can start plugging in what we have. Our D is 1.14. Let me give myself a little bit more room. D is 1.14 grams per milliliter multiplied by 12 milliliters. All right. Now, what happens here is this gram per milliliter, all that means is that the milliliter is on the bottom. Okay, 1.14 grams per milliliter times 12 milliliters. The milliliters, if I turn that into a fraction, my milliliters are going to cancel out. Cancel, cancel. So I have 1.14 grams times 12. So put that in our calculator. 1.14 times 12 equals what? 13.68. So let me see, 2 sig figs here. So my answer is going to have 2 sig figs. 13.68 rounded to 2 sig figs is going to be 14. So my answer equals 14 grams. And that's how you solve for the mass.